Hi, this is Andrew from American Artisan. In our last video, we cut our tenons to fit into our mortise for our Splayed dovetail stool. Before we could install it, we need to do a couple more things. One of them is shaping the handle. You can see here on my plywood mock-up that I've drawn an area for a circular hole. That will allow you to hang the stool on the wall when you're not using it, or just give you a comfortable place to rest your thumb as you grip it. We'll do that on the drill press with a Forstner bit. We also need to cut out the shape. You see here I have a half pattern. I have the radius at the top, and I've drawn one side. Then we'll take that, trace it onto our final piece, and then flip it over and trace it again so we get a perfectly mirrored image. So I'm going to take this to the drill press, drill the hole, and then we'll deal with our shapes. So now with my hole drilled, I'll use my pattern to transfer the shape onto my workpiece. You'll notice that I've only cut the shape out on one side. That's because I want them to be perfect mirror images. It's less work and it comes out more symmetrical if you only cut it on one side. If you make them the same width, then you can use the back edge to line it up. So I have this lined up on the back edge, and I've lined it up on the end, and now I'll trace it. And then flip it over. Now you can see if I line this edge up in the bottom, I'll get a nice symmetrical transfer. They're ready to cut. I'll take it over to the scroll saw. All right, so now that we have our shapes cut, we need to clean them up. Bandsaw would have done a better job than the scroll saw. Scroll saw left a rough edge. I used my spoke shave to straighten out this line. I used the flat bottom spoke shave. I put it in the vise and just cleaned up those saw marks. So this just straightens my line up and gets rid of any little bumps from the saw. And I want to clean this up. It's basically a straight taper until it gets to about here. Then it's a section of a radius. Now cleaning that up, it's tough to get in there even with a round bottom spoke shave. You can see the spoke shave has a flat bottom for doing flat surfaces, and this is for getting inside of shapes. One way that a lot of traditional cabinet makers will do is they'll just do it with their bench chisel. But normally when you use your bench chisel, the flat bottom goes towards the work and the bevel is towards you. In this case, we're going to turn it over, and we're going to brace our hand here, put it at just the top, and just roll it back. Just so you get little tiny curls, and this will clean up all those saw marks and give you a nice even surface. Now you see I'm stopping when I feel like it's going to chip out, and then I'll just come back the other way, swipe it across to get rid of those little curls. You might not have a sharp chisel, or that might just not be the way you like to work. I can show you another way using spindle sander to clean up that inside corner. Otherwise, still get those flats with something like a spoke shave, or if you don't have one, a large sanding block, and you can look in the description for a video to make your own favorite sanding block. So let's go to the spindle sander. So that spindle sander did a nice job cleaning that inside shoulder. You want to make sure all your profiles are nice and clean with no saw marks remaining. And then we're going to move on to round over our edges so that our handle has a more comfortable grip. I'll do that with the spoke shave in the vise. You can see in the face I've drawn a pencil line that tapers slightly. That's kind of to give me a guideline of where to stop my beveling. And so that one tapers, but over here I believe we can just make it consistent. So I'll just draw that real quick. Just so I have a sense of where I am so that things stay symmetrical. I might change my mind and go deeper, but a little bit higher in the vise there. Okay. So I'm going to start at the top with my round bottom spoke shave. And I'm starting just to ease the corner. Now you could choose to do a square bevel. I kind of want to make it a little round, make it a little more comfortable to grip. You might find you change the position of the piece in the vise as you work on different parts. like to kind of work both sides, so I'll also work on this side. Seems to be easier to keep things symmetrical then. You can hear that rattling a bit. Sometimes when you're running into that, maybe just skew your Spokeshave. See how that sounds a little cleaner? When I was going straight on, you hear that rattle? It didn't want to take the cut that way. It might have been how it was hitting the fibers, so if we just skew it a little bit, we can get a little more control, a little cleaner cut. So the process is pretty simple. Spokeshave is a really versatile tool when you start getting into doing shaped work, cabriole legs and the like. And it's a very natural action. Yeah, I've gone to pretty close to my lines. I'm gonna do the opposite side and then kind of check the feel of it and decide, you know, if I want to go deeper, kind of look at it. So let's get the opposite side trimmed. Alright, so I've beveled both sides to my pencil line and I'm gripping it, and I really don't think it's a comfortable grip. I think I want to get this kind of more round on the edges, maybe have that round over come all the way to the center at the top and fade as it goes down. So I'm going to do that and let's see what it looks like on our final piece. So I completed shaping my handle. I extended the round over all the way to the center of the thickness and followed my tapered line all the way down. There's a transition here from the radius cut at the top to the round over that I made by turning my chisel backwards like I did earlier, and I think it makes a nice sharp point, and it shows that it was done by hand and not with a router. Another thing that shows is when I feel this, I can feel the little ripples from the Spokeshave. I'll give this a final sanding to get rid of any pencil marks and to soften the edges, but I'm not going to get rid of all those tool marks. I want the hand of the artisan to show in the final product. Thanks for watching this video. In the next video, we will prepare our tenons to be wedged and installed. Subscribe for more woodworking videos.